Now, on the Young Turks, TonyaTKO. Well, you know, last name like TKO. I mean, what am I going to do? I got to introduce you that way. Tonya, welcome to the show.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. My guess is that's not your real last name.
No, it's not. It's a, I guess it's my moniker.
Mm-hmm, don't it? Okay. You're not going to
No,
TKO.
not Monica. No.
Oh, that's different. No, okay. You're not going to TKO us, are you?
Well, you know, wherever I go, I'm knocking people out.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. All right, so Tonya, tell us about your YouTube channel, which is, from what I understand, ridiculously popular. Well, what do you do on the channel?
Well, you know, I really try to motivate people, and I try to uplift people, educate people, and share experiences with people that will help them knock out life.
Don't it? Okay. What are the different topics that you talk about?
Well, you know, well, for one, my mother passed away when I was a teenager. So there are certain lessons that I had to learn coming into womanhood that I try to pass on to younger women, and things that I've learned from being the type of woman that I am, having to grow up in New York, and the different challenges that I've had to face rising up out of the ghetto and traveling across the world. So I try to give people advice on love, relationships, sex, anything and everything under the sun that can help people enrich their lives.
Let's pause on sex for a second. Okay, you know what? I got one more question along those lines before Anna jumps in here. You did a video on how you lost your virginity, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay, talk to me about that. What possessed you to put that video up? And number two, how did you lose your virginity?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I guess you'd have to watch the video for the answer to the second part of that. But I put the video up mainly because people regard me as a big sister, sort of, you know. And as a big sister, you can only imagine that a lot of young ladies come to me asking questions about when to lose their virginity. I get that a lot. Oh, you know, I really like this guy. Should I lose my virginity to him? I'm not sure. You know, and I got the question one too many times, and then I got an email from a young lady who actually did lose her virginity to someone and really regretted it, and I felt bad that I hadn't posted the video earlier. So I originally started the video and just started talking about when is the right time to lose your virginity, and then I gave the story of my first experience, you know, as a way to motivate people to wait before they have sex, or to at least have sex for the first time when they want to.
So what's your advice? Your advice is basically to just have sex when you feel like the time is right?
Well, you know, that's it. That's it. That's exactly it. I think that when a woman or a young man comes into the state of knowing that this is exactly what it is that they want to do, and they're cognizant of why they want to do it, and as long as it's a decision, as I said in the video, I said, the right time to, well, I definitely tell them that they should not be trying to lose their virginity, but share it. And when they get to the point in their lives where they feel that this is something that they want to share with this person, that they should do it.
Was your experience a good one or a bad one in losing your virginity? Do you use that as a good example or a bad example?
I shared my virginity.
Oh, you did. So it was nice.
Yes, I did. It was actually a wonderful experience. And as you can imagine, I'm from the Bronx. So growing up, I had a lot of people who wanted to be the first, you know, and I told them of my near sex experience when I was 17, right?
Well, Tonya, let me tell you something, okay? I grew up in East Brunswick, New Jersey, just a regular old suburb, okay? And believe me, we all wanted to be the first too, okay? We all wanted to share in that experience. Now, it didn't work out for some of us, but...
Well, you know...
So that's universal, for guys, at least.
Well, yeah, I think that young guys and young girls should both wait until. Well, I think boys are in a rush to get it over with. I think that their biological clock is a little different.
So, what kind of response do you get to your sex advice videos? Do people generally agree with you, or would you say that people are against you?
You know what? Sometimes it gets split down the middle. For the most part, when I give my advice to women attempting to empower them, I get a lot of women who thank me for the advice. And at times, like when I did the video, Don't Date Loser Men, you know, I got a lot of men who came out the woodwork, some of them missing teeth, who had some issues.
Tell me some more about the loser men. So what do you, how do you identify a loser man? What's the best way to spot one?
I would say somebody who is not handling their business as a man. And, you know, I think that people have to, and one of my greatest advice to people is to really listen to themselves. Listen, just take some time out, get into a quiet place and just listen. I think that a lot of the answers that we have or will come to actually evolve from inside of us.
Yeah, but how does that tell you if the guy's a loser or a winner?
I think people, personally, I feel that people emit vibrations, and I think that if you are around a person and you look at their eye contact and their body language and you listen to yourself, and the way that you feel on the inside. I heard you earlier talking about how human beings are not animals, but
so that would give you a good vibe on
right. I think if you really listen to yourself, if you tune in to, I think that human beings are animals, and I think that we have instincts that will lead us out of harm's way, and I think that we have to take the time out to really get into a quiet place and listen to our instincts.
I'm now in your camp because I like anyone who was listening earlier in the show. No, but and I know what you're saying about the animal thing. It depends on the context in which you talk about that. So, Tonya, I know you also talk about weight loss. Where do you stand on that? Because there's on YouTube and online, there's a lot of talk about that, and whether it's there's too much pressure on women to lose weight, whether it's okay to be full-figured, what it means to be fit if you are full-figured. So what are your thoughts there?
Well, you know what? First, I want to say that I am very disappointed in you, Cenk.
Of course. Almost everyone is.
No, I am. You guys did a show about the plus-size models who were in the magazine, and I thought you had some very harsh criticisms about those women. And Anna, I'm disappointed with you too because you didn't really stick to your guns on that topic.
TonyaTKO. All right. Listen, Tonya. For me, the reality is, look, I say all the time, you try to be as fit as you can. Of course, I try to be as fit as I can, and I'm a fat ass. I try, but what can I do, right? I mean, I think I do as much as I can.
Very good, Cenk, actually.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But and on the other hand, don't get obsessed with looks. I'm going to do plastic surgery. I'm going to do 10 in one day, like Heidi Montag. I counsel against that all the time. On the other hand, Tonya, look, if a woman says, "Hey, you know what? I like guys with six packs," and Cenk, you just don't have a six pack, I hear him. That's life. And, you said earlier, we're animals, and there's certain things we're attracted to and not attracted to. So now that also applies for women. So, yeah, I mean, in the real world, there are some women you're attracted to and some that you're not. What can you do about it?
Right. And for the record,
you know what?
And for the record, I said that those models were attractive, right? And what am I going to do?
At first, Anna.
No. I said they were attractive, and then Cenk said, "No, they're not for me." And what am I going to do? I'm not going to choke him and tell him no. Say that they're beautiful.
I agree with not choking.
No, you know what? You started out saying, "Oh, I thought the women were beautiful," right? And then he started giving his criticisms, and then he was like, "Well, why did they have to go so extreme?" And then you were like, "Yeah, I kind of see your point."
No, but
I was like, "No, Anna, don't give it up."
All right, no. I just want to hear, Tonya, your view on that. Okay, so some of them were full-figured, and I liked them, and some of them were full-figured, and I thought that was just a bit too much for my taste. So I'm the bad guy, but I mean, what am I supposed to say?
No. You're not the bad guy. I do think that a lot of our preferences are created by the media. And one thing that I could say, because I was like, I felt that Anna kind of dropped the ball, because when you were saying that that they didn't have to go too far over to the extreme, and I'm over here thinking, because first of all, as you see me, I'm rather buxom,
God bless.
So, and you know, all of my followers, which are in the room, I wanted to say hello to everybody. Hi. I love you guys too. They follow along with me while I go through my fitness journey on YouTube, and I definitely think that people should be fit, and I think that, you know, carrying around excess weight, being obese, those things are taxing on the body. It's toxic and it's not healthy. So I definitely want people to get as fit as they can. I do know that there are people across the board that have different shaped bodies. Yes, different shaped faces, different shaped bodies. Some people retain more weight than others, right? Some people are ectomorphs, other people are mesomorphs, and then endomorphs. But when you said that they didn't have to go too far on the extreme and start photographing these larger plus size models, I felt that the middle ground has been fully covered by magazines like Maxim and Smooth and a tremendous amount of magazines covering the newsstands. There are women who are not model thin, who are quote unquote average, as you call them, and in some magazines the women are a little more average than others, right?
Now the thing is, look, Tonya, I'm not buying it. Okay, I'm not buying it, and I'll tell you why. Okay. Like if now the male models, I keep going back to that example because it's the easy one. Male models are also paper thin, right? Or they got the six pack, etc. Now, if they use some average models that didn't have a six pack, but were not like huge or anything, that would make sense to me, just as I said with the girls. But if they use models like me, and look, I do a great job of hiding this gut under this desk, okay?
Okay.
But you put me in a wife beater and then you show my gut from the profile, ain't nobody gonna buy that product. Okay, I don't care what I'm advertising. People aren't going to buy it. And so I think that's just reality. And whether we want it to be that way or not, ectomorph or endomorph or whatever's happening, that's just, I acknowledge that reality. You see what I'm saying?
Well, first of all, I think that you're coming at the argument from a very wrong direction when you start comparing a male body type to a female body type. Men naturally have more muscle and burn more fat, and women, on the other hand, we produce hormones which make us hold on to fat, which make us get cellulite, which make us, have different, things which come along with being female, which will, across the board, give us a higher fat ratio than men. So when you start talking about male models and just men in the general population overall, now every male model is not husky, is not brolic, it is not super muscular. There are male models who have flat chests and flat arms and who are who have swimmer bodies, as opposed to hulking bodies,
Okay, Tonya. So okay, let's forget about the men. The one thing that you said in your argument that I don't agree with is that average women are represented in Maxim and magazines for men. That's absolutely not true. Those women don't have average bodies. Those women are paper thin, but they happen to have gigantic breasts. I mean, they're not representative of the average women at all. So when you say that average women are represented in the media in one way or another, that's not true. I mean, you got to keep it real.
Well, you know what? Okay, let me retract the word average, because you're right. Because if 60% of American women are overweight, then the average woman is going to be a woman who's overweight. Let me just use the argument that you all were using. We were talking about, you guys started talking about the middle ground. You said, why go from stick thin to a woman who's 185 pounds or 200 pounds or however much any of those women weighed? And you guys talked, and when the argument left off and where you conceded was when he said they didn't have to go so extreme, that they could have had, the middle ground in there. And I do believe that the women in Maxim and the women in Smooth and these other girly magazines, I do believe that that's the middle ground right there. Not overweight and not paper thin, right there in the middle with curvy thighs, breast, arms, booty, depending on the magazine you're looking at.
TonyaTKO! All right, I like it. All right, Tonya, it's been a blast. Everybody's going to check out TonyaTKO.com, obviously. Everybody's going to check out TonyaTKO on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening to the show. We appreciate both of those things.
Okay, great. And can I say one last thing to Anna?
Sure.
I really appreciate your contribution to the Young Turks. I think that you're a very beautiful and very savvy, very well-spoken young lady, and I love listening to you on the show. I think that you add a certain dynamic that just wouldn't be there if you weren't there.
Oh,
thank you so much.
We end on a swoopy papoopy note.
That was very sweet.
Okay.
I love that. Thank you.
All right, Tonya, thanks so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you for having me.
All
Goodbye,
right.
everybody. I love you guys.
Bye.
Bye. All right, we'll be right back.